So recently there's been a bit of a controversy about a new title that Rocket League Esports released called the RLCS 2024 Challenger title. Main reason being that they're giving this out to teams that finish a top 128 in a qualifier during the 2024 season in North America or and Europe. So they're giving it out to a lot of teams. And this has been something that even Zen has been complaining about on Twitter/X. And I know Jamaican Coconut made a video about this as well on YouTube. So it's been a fairly big deal overall. One of the reasons being also that last season you only got titles for finishing top 8 and further. And now they're going all the way down to top 128. I mean, people also kind of feel like this kind of title feels like it almost looks the same as a top 8 title. There isn't really this huge feeling of like, oh, it's massively different. The top 8 title, looks so much better on paper than the top 128 title. So it almost makes it feel like it's equal value. Although obviously, if you know what those titles mean in what you achieve, then you understand that that's not the case. Also important to note that they for this specific title, so if you finish top 17th to 128th, this title, the Challenger title, will not have the same shiny light blue color that all the other RLCS titles do have. Instead, you'll get a more different shade of blue, which I'll show with some screenshots as well, just to clarify. But yeah, weird thing is that although we're giving out titles to more people, they are actually giving out less titles, and by that I mean they took away regional finalist the titles for regional finalist, major finalist, RLCS Elite, which means top 8 in a regional, and then RLCS Major Elite, which means the same thing but for a major. So that's rather confusing. And then my opinion on this whole thing, well, whilst I think that more titles aren't necessarily a problem, or isn't necessarily a problem, I think that the name RLCS 2024 Challenger kind of implies that you're in the main event, you're in RLCS, and that's not the case, which I think cancels out the argument of, well, now RLCS titles seem more reachable, makes it more enticing for more players to sign up. So yeah, I think the title now looks a bit fraudulent and takes away value and integrity of, the RLCS title, right? And I think this whole situation kind of proves how Epic has been very chaotic in the last few seasons with Rocket League, because 2 seasons ago you got titles for top 16, so that's the main event, which I think makes perfect sense, by the way. And then suddenly it got switched to only top 8 get titles, and now we've gone down to top 128. So why are we going in opposite directions between seasons? Doesn't look like they've got it all together too much, let's be honest. And then also, if you're gonna give people more titles, then why are we not making titles for winning EWC, the Esports World Cup? Why aren't we making titles for winning Flip and Spin, right? And I guess the logic is that they're making less titles, and that would make more titles. They're just giving it to more people, right? And they can just, I don't know if that's much of a expensive thing for them or not. I guess that's the only logic I can see, which also speaks to the kind of the failure of the esport that has been slowly declining. And then maybe this means, if we want to give more players titles, maybe we need to find a way to kind of have a second league. And I know this proposal will meet a lot of questioning, I guess, or criticism. But if we're able to make some type of RLRS, I'm not saying league play necessarily, but just like a second division of some sorts, right? But then that does also mean that when you play in RLCS, that every single team there has to earn more for their spot. So if you finish 16th, that team would have to earn more than first in RLRS. And I just do not think that the way the esport is right now that they're ever going to be able to fund that. So I think that's a bit of a dream rather than, a suggestion. What I do have as a suggestion though is how I think titles should work, which is top 16. I think you should get a title, assuming that the main event is top 16. I'll put it that way. I think if you're in the main event, you need a title. If you're not in the main event, you don't get a title. I think it's that simple, to be honest, because you've got RLCS in the name. You need to be in RLCS to get the title. If if excluding certain titles makes them more money, or I guess saves them more money, then fair enough. So I don't necessarily hate the fact that a top 8 title has to go away, though I kind of doubt that that takes too much money. So, if it's possible, then, top 16 title, top 8 title, second place title, and then, a first place title. I think that's a pretty fair thing to say. Some people might argue for top 4, but that doesn't concern me too much personally. So yeah, there you go. I guess that's my suggestion on how these titles should be handled, and I should also clarify that I think all CIS titles should always have the same light blue color. The fact that they have to change the color of the challenger title kind of shows that they themselves probably maybe don't think this might have been the greatest idea, and that they have to kind of compromise to find a way for it to work. But yeah, we're in a very weird spot right now in the esports. Bunch of weird stuff happening. Anyways, that's been it for me. Please like, subscribe, and I'll see you later.